LangchainRobocorp toolkits. This system combines LangChain's capabilities for natural language processing and RoboCorp automation tools to enable intelligent automation workflows. Data logic. This component manages the data processing, logic execution, and data interaction with external sources within the system. LangChain. This subcomponent uses natural language processing capabilities to understand and process text, allowing interaction with language models and the execution of complex tasks. LLMs. These are large language models responsible for generating text, translating languages, writing different kinds of creative content, and answering your questions in an informative way. LLMs are used by LangChain to perform language-based tasks. Input text is fed to the LLMs for processing, which then output generated or processed text. Prompt templates. These are templates that structure the input prompts given to the LLMs, ensuring consistency and clarity in communication. Prompt templates are used to format prompts for the LLMs. Prompts are formatted using the prompt templates and then sent to the LLMs. Chains. Chains are sequences of components that work together to accomplish a particular task. They are responsible for orchestrating the flow of information and operations. Chains orchestrate the interaction between different components within LangChain. Data flows through the chained components, being processed and transformed at each stage. Agents. Agents are responsible for making decisions and taking actions based on the information received from the LLMs and other components. Agents are used to direct the workflow based on the results of the LLMs and other components. Data is processed by the LLMs and other components, and the agents analyze the results to determine the next steps. Tools. These are external tools that LangChain can interact with to perform specific tasks, such as accessing databases or making API calls. Tools provide LangChain with the ability to interact with external systems and perform actions. Data is passed from LangChain to the tools for processing, and the results are then returned to LangChain. Memory. This component stores information about previous interactions, allowing LangChain to maintain context and learn from past experiences. Memory allows LangChain to remember past interactions and use them to inform future decisions. Data about past interactions is stored in the memory and can be accessed by the LLMs and other components. RoboCorp toolkits. This subcomponent provides the tools and infrastructure for automating tasks and processes, allowing LangChain to execute real-world actions. RoboCorp SDK. This provides the core interface for interacting with RoboCorp automation platform. The SDK allows LangChain to connect to and control RoboCorp automation capabilities. LangChain sends instructions and data to the RoboCorp SDK to execute automation tasks. RoboCorp tasks. These are individual units of work that can be automated using RoboCorp tools. Tasks are the basic building blocks of RoboCorp workflows, providing the ability to automate specific operations. Tasks receive data from LangChain and process it to perform automated actions. RoboCorp workflows. Workflows chain together different tasks to create complex automated processes. Workflows orchestrate the execution of multiple tasks within RoboCorp. Data flows between different tasks within a workflow, being processed at each stage. RoboCorp variables. These store data within RoboCorp workflows, allowing for the passing and manipulation of information. Variables store and manage data during the execution of RoboCorp workflows. Data is stored and manipulated within variables during the execution of RoboCorp workflows. Data sources. This subcomponent provides access to various data sources, enabling the system to retrieve and utilize external data. Data sources. These can include databases, APIs, files, or any other source of data. Data sources provide the system with access to external data. Data is retrieved from the data sources and made available to other components within the system. Data transformations. These processes transform data into a suitable format for processing and analysis. Data transformations prepare data for use by other components within the system. Data is transformed into a usable format for the system. Data validation. This ensures the quality and integrity of the data before it is used. Data validation maintains the accuracy and reliability of the data. Data is checked for errors and inconsistencies before being used by other components. Data enrichment. This process adds value to the data by integrating it with additional information from external sources. Data enrichment enhances the value of the data by combining it with relevant external information. Data is combined with external information to enhance its context and value. RoboCorp flows. This subcomponent manages the execution of RoboCorp automated workflows, orchestrating tasks and processes. RoboCorp tasks. These are individual units of work that can be automated using RoboCorp tools. Tasks are the basic building blocks of RoboCorp workflows, providing the ability to automate specific operations. Tasks receive data from LangChain and process it to perform automated actions. RoboCorp workflows. Workflows chain together different tasks to create complex automated processes. Workflows orchestrate the execution of multiple tasks within RoboCorp. Data flows between different tasks within a workflow, being processed at each stage. RoboCorp triggers. Triggers initiate the execution of RoboCorp workflows based on specific events or conditions. Triggers control the start of RoboCorp workflows based on defined events. Triggers receive event signals and initiate the execution of corresponding workflows. RoboCorp connectors. These provide connections between RoboCorp automation environment and external systems, enabling data exchange and interaction. Connectors facilitate communication between RoboCorp and external systems. Data is exchanged between RoboCorp and external systems through the connectors. RoboCorp environments. This subcomponent defines the execution context for RoboCorp workflows, including configurations, credentials, and environments. RoboCorp environments. These represent different execution environments for RoboCorp workflows, such as development, testing, or production. Environments define the context for executing RoboCorp workflows. Workflows execute within specific environments, using the configured settings and resources. RoboCorp credentials. Credentials provide authentication information for accessing external systems from RoboCorp workflows. Credentials enable secure access to external systems from RoboCorp workflows. Credentials are used to authenticate with external systems during workflow execution. RoboCorp config. Configuration settings define the behavior and execution parameters of RoboCorp workflows. Config settings control the behavior and operation of RoboCorp workflows. Configuration settings are used to control the execution of RoboCorp workflows. RoboCorp connectors. This subcomponent provides connections between RoboCorp automation environment and external systems, enabling data exchange and interaction. RoboCorp connectors. These facilitate communication between RoboCorp and external systems. Connectors enable data exchange and interaction between RoboCorp and external systems. Data is exchanged between RoboCorp and external systems through the connectors. RoboCorp APIs. These provide programmatic interfaces for interacting with RoboCorp functionality. APIs allow external systems to interact with RoboCorp functionality. Data and commands are exchanged between RoboCorp and external systems through the APIs. RoboCorp libraries. These provide reusable code modules that extend RoboCorp capabilities. Libraries provide additional functionality to RoboCorp workflows. Libraries extend the functionality of RoboCorp workflows by providing reusable code modules. Output execution. This component handles the output of results, execution of actions, and logging of system activities. RoboCorp actions. These represent the automated actions performed by RoboCorp workflows. Actions are the results of the execution of RoboCorp workflows. Actions are executed by RoboCorp workflows based on the processed data and logic. RoboCorp results. These are the outcomes of the execution of RoboCorp workflows, including data, status updates, and reports. Results represent the output of RoboCorp workflows. Results are generated by RoboCorp workflows and made available to other components. RoboCorp logs. Logs record system activities and events during workflow execution, providing insights into the system's behavior. Logs provide a record of system activities and events. System events and activities are recorded in the logs for analysis and debugging. RoboCorp reports. Reports provide summaries and visualizations of system data and performance. Reports provide insights into the system's performance and data. System data and performance metrics are aggregated and presented in reports. User input. This component handles user interactions, allowing users to provide input, commands, and feedback. User interface. This provides a visual interface for users to interact with the system. The user interface allows users to interact with the system visually. User input is received through the user interface and passed to other components. User commands. These are instructions or commands that users can provide to the system. User commands direct the system's actions based on user requests. User commands are processed by the system and used to execute specific actions. User feedback. Users can provide feedback on the system's performance or results. User feedback allows users to provide insights and suggestions for improvement. User feedback is collected by the system for analysis and improvement. User authentication. This component verifies the identity of users before granting access to the system. User authentication ensures the security and authorization of user access. User authentication credentials are verified before granting access to the system. LangchainRobocorp Toolkits Action Server Request Tool. This system utilizes a toolkit built on LangChain to process action server requests and generate responses. Input. Receives an action server request. Provides the initial request to the system. Action server request tool. Processes the action server request. Analyzes the received request, performs necessary actions, and generates an appropriate response. Output. Provides the action server response. Delivers the generated response from the action server request tool. Input. Action server request tool. Data flow. The action server request is passed from the input to the action server request tool for processing. Action server request tool. Output. Data flow. The action server response is generated by the action server request tool and then sent to the output. The system operates in a sequential manner. The input component initiates the process by sending the request to the action server request tool. The action server request tool then processes the request and sends the generated response to the output component. Central component that orchestrates interactions between subsystems. Receives input for task execution. Receives input for natural language interactions. Sends instructions to execute tasks. Receives collected results from executed tasks. Sends the final response to the user or requesting system. Integrates with robot framework to execute tests and collect results. Sends results and input for task execution. Integrates with LangChain for natural language interactions. Sends input for natural language interactions. Executes tasks based on instructions from Action Server Toolkit. Receives instructions for task execution. Collects results from executed tasks. Sends collected results. Formulates and sends the final response. Receives information to formulate the response. Run details callback handler. Robot execution. Trigger. Robot execution. Run details callback handler. Callback. Langchainrobocorp toolkits tool args. This system represents a set of tools and their associated arguments, parameters, and variables. Tool args. A class responsible for managing and executing tools within the system. Tool code. str. The code of the tool to be executed. Tool name. str. The name of the tool to be executed. Tool arguments. List. A list of arguments to pass to the tool. Tool version. str. The version of the tool to be executed. Tool parameters. Dict. A dictionary of parameters to pass to the tool. Tool input variables. List. A list of input variables to pass to the tool. Tool output variables. List. A list of output variables to be returned from the tool. Run tool. Executes the tool with the specified arguments and parameters. Get tool code. Returns the code of the tool. Get tool name. Returns the name of the tool. Get tool arguments. Returns the list of arguments for the tool. Get tool version. Returns the version of the tool. Get tool parameters. Returns the dictionary of parameters for the tool. Get tool input variables. Returns the list of input variables for the tool. Get tool output variables. Returns the list of output variables for the tool. Tool args. Tool args. Users. The tool args class uses its own attributes and methods to manage and execute tools. Tool args. Tool args. Tool code. Tool name. Tool arguments. Tool version. Tool parameters. Tool input variables. Tool output variables. Data is stored and retrieved from the attributes of the tool args class during tool execution. Tool args. Tool args. Tool output. The tool args class processes tool execution and returns output variables as specified. Tool args. Tool args. The tool args class controls the execution of tools based on the provided arguments and parameters. Langchainrobocorp tool input schema. This schema defines the input structure for tools within a RoboCorp LangChain context. Tool input schema defines the core input parameters for a tool. Name. str. The name of the tool. Description. str. A textual description of the tool's functionality. Parameters. List tool parameter. A list of parameters that the tool accepts as input. Tool code. str. The code that defines the tool's implementation. Tool type. str. The type of the tool, e.g., Python, JavaScript. Function name. str. The name of the function that implements the tool logic. Function args. List tool parameter. A list of parameters passed to the tool's function. Tool quargs. Ductster. Any additional keyword arguments for the tool's function. Tool code type. str. The type of the tool code, e.g., Python, JavaScript. Tool config. Ductster. Any configuration settings for the tool. Tool parameter. Represents a single input parameter for a tool. Name. str. The name of the parameter. Description. str. A textual description of the parameter. Type. str. The data type of the parameter. Default. Any. The default value for the parameter if not provided. Required. Bool. Indicates whether the parameter is mandatory. Choices. List str. A list of allowed values for the parameter. Description. str. A more detailed description of the parameter. Tool input schema. Tool parameter. Contains. Tool input schema has a list of tool parameter objects representing its input parameters. Tool input schema. Tool parameter. Uses. Tool input schema uses tool parameter objects to define its input parameters. Tool input schema. Tool parameter. Input. Tool input schema provides parameter definitions to tool parameter objects. Tool parameter. Tool input schema. Output. Tool parameter objects provide their definitions to tool input schema. Tool input schema defines the overall structure of a tool's input, while tool parameter objects specify individual parameter details. The relationships between these components determine how the tool interacts with its input.